Hi, Mikel.
Hi.
I think Chris Wilder will be portraying this game as the haves against the have-nots in terms of the financial resources available. How do you get your players completely on task when you're facing that kind of opponent who feels they've got a point, that they're against very much against the odds?
Just put in the images of the last games that they played against them, how difficult they made it for us, and just know that if they are not ready for that, it will be even more complicated. So they know. It's not a coincidence what they did last year, how consistent they were, the results they got against big teams as well. So I think they will be prepared.
The only other thing, I think Rob Draper might want to come in at this point. I was just going to come back at the end, but Rob, do you want to take over there?
Yeah, okay, Mark?
Yeah.
Yeah, Mikel, hi. Congratulations last night. It's another sort of famous cup win for you. I'm just interested, we obviously know you're sort of graduate of La Masia in Barcelona. We kind of thought you were a disciple of Johan Cruyff, but obviously a lot of the games you win now are with less possession than the other team. And I just wonder, have you changed, or are you still a disciple of Johan Cruyff, and this is just the way you have to play at the moment?
I think it's a mix of both. I think that the game is evolving in another direction that you have to be able to adapt. Most importantly, I have to be able to adapt to the players that I have, to try to give them maximum security, comfort, and ask them things that they are able to do at the moment. And obviously, when you play against that type of opponent at the moment, which is probably the most dominant team or one of the three most dominant teams in Europe, you have to know and be realistic and play the game that you are able to play against them, not the game that you want to put in the magnets or in the video. It's actually the game that we have to play against them. If we are able to do that game, we will compete against them and we will give ourselves a big chance to win that game. And this is why we have to go game by game, don't forgetting where we want to get and how we're going to make that process and evolution.
Did you have any sympathy for example, you often hear this after a game when one side has much more possession but loses. Last week, some of the Manchester City players were saying, well, Leicester didn't even want to play football when it's really difficult, but they lost 5-2. Do you have sympathy for players when they say that? Or do you think, well, it's just part of the game, and if you had 60% possession, it doesn't really mean anything if you don't win?
Yes, at the end, I think you have to hear at both sides, because one would say, okay, we go high press against them and we leave the spaces open. We are just shooting our own feet, But if we are low block, we have a space to run, we make it hard for them. They have to commit a lot of people forward. We don't have spaces to attack. It's just a chess game that you have to play there psychologically, how you manage that game. If your team is able to do what you're going to ask them on that game plan, but I think you can defend any style. At the end of the day, it's the freedom. The rules say that you can play like you want. If you want to play with 10 players in the line, you can do it. So it's up to the coaches and then the players to execute it.
Yeah, because I'm just interested, because maybe in the past sort of 7 or 8 years, Arsenal have been one of those teams that's played some really pretty football, maybe, and maybe you were part of some of those teams, but maybe didn't end up winning. And I know there were FA Cup wins towards the end of your career at Arsenal, but maybe didn't end up winning trophy. And do you have to change that mentality in players and maybe in a club like Arsenal to say, well, yeah, of course we aspire to play beautiful football, but actually right now here we have this game to win, so don't sort of come to me saying, well, we had the most possession but we lost.
I want to become more dominant. I want to press even higher than we do. Like you could see last night how aggressive the team is. I want to have 55 shots on targets and I want to concede 0 goals every game. This is the aim and where we want to get, how we're going to evolve. And in relation to against who do we play, we will adapt things to make it difficult for them and give ourselves the best possible chance. But we cannot deny as well the way we try to play, the goals that we score making 40 passes using the goalkeeper, doing the build-up from goal kick and scoring some great goals against some of the best opponents in the country as well. But at the moment, we need that mix. We need that adaptability and that unpredictability to attack and defend teams.
And lastly, from me, when you're obviously your friend and former colleague Pep, when you talk about these different styles of football, we always get the impression that Pep maybe looks down on counter-attack football. But does he ever, when you have these discussions, does he appreciate sort of the way you're playing, the way you beat his team?
Sorry, can you repeat?
Yeah, I did. When I was just wondering, when you talk to Pep, when you were a colleague and a friend, and does he actually appreciate, for example, the way your side counterattacks, or he always seems more purist, like, well, I would never play that way, whatever?
No, we have some really good discussions about both teams and how we are evolving. I think he's happy to see the way our team is evolving as well. We practice a lot against City. Was one of the things that we did much better over the years, and it was the way we counter. We use the spaces and we kill opponents when we had open spaces to attack. And it's a big part of football right now. Again, the positional game is one of our main beliefs, and as well the high press. And when we have to defend and put teams under pressure, the energy level, the aggression that we want to defend with, and that will keep growing and growing over time.
Thanks. Thank you, Mikel.
Mikel, just one slightly off field. If you were managing Donald Trump, what would you say to him now that he's got the coronavirus?
No comment.
Okay.
Thanks, everybody.
Okay.
Thank you,
guys. Thank you.
Bye-bye.
Thank you.